I feel like we've all been living under this unspoken pressure for years now. You scroll through Instagram and it's the same kind of girl over and over again. She's stunning, obviously, full glam, matching workout sets, tiny waist, perfect lips, BBL hourglass body. It's the Instagram baddie, the blueprint of online beauty for the last decade. But to be honest, I'm so tired of it. I'm tired of chasing this look. I'm tired of how it's been marketed as confidence. I'm tired of how suffocating it feels to just exist without fitting into that mold. As a disclaimer, this is not about hating on pretty girls or shaming anyone who genuinely enjoys dressing up and doing full glam every day. In fact, it's not even about plastic surgery or makeup itself, but it's about the standard, the unrelenting, exhausting standard, and how it's swallowed up practically everything, from fashion to femininity to self-worth. The whole baddie aesthetic didn't start off toxic. In fact, it was originally a form of empowerment. Think back to 2016 and 2017, the Kylie Jenner era. Girls were experimenting with overlined lips, baking their makeup, and dressing in Yeezy-inspired neutrals. It felt fresh, like we were entering a new wave of beauty outside of the traditional blonde, thin Victoria's Secret model look. But over time, it became less about personal expression and more about fitting the mold. Suddenly, there were rules. You needed snatched brows, a lace front, a tiny waist, thick thighs, a full chest, pouty lips, and symmetrical features, all at once. And the worst part is, the natural version of this look became the new expectation. So even if you weren't wearing a full face of makeup, people still expected you to look like you were. And that's when things started to get weird. There's no way to talk about the baddie aesthetic without talking about the Instagram body. And you know exactly what I mean. The surgically enhanced hourglass shape, consisting of a flat stomach, huge hips, perky butt, small nose, and big lips. It's not a naturally occurring body type for most people, and yet it's presented as attainable if you work hard enough or spend enough money. We've reached a point where even fitness influencers are getting surgery and pretending it's just squats. Waist trainers are still being pushed like it's 2015, and the before and after photos are more extreme than ever. It's exhausting because it's not just about what you look like anymore. It's about how you brand yourself, the way you move, pose, edit, caption. It's all calculated, and even the raw moments feel staged. So, how exactly are we supposed to keep up with that? One thing that always comes up when you critique the baddie aesthetic is let women do what they want. Which, yes, absolutely. Women should have autonomy over their bodies and their style. Always. But we also need to be real about the fact that a lot of this is not just a personal choice. It's cultural conditioning. It's growing up watching girls go viral for having perfect bodies and perfect hair and perfect skin. It's watching TikTok trends that reward you for fitting the look and punish you when you don't. There's this idea that the baddie look is all about confidence, but when it starts to feel like a uniform, it stops being empowering. It becomes a costume, one that you're expected to wear every single day, or you risk being invisible. And when you do wear it, people start assuming things about you, that you're superficial, that you're doing it for male attention, that you're just trying too hard. So the reality is, you can't really win either way. Social media has also turned beauty into a performance. You're not just existing anymore, you're curating, managing your image, editing photos, filming get ready with me's, choosing angles, lighting, and filters. Even effortless now requires a whole ton of effort. The baddie aesthetic thrives off of this idea that you can become that girl if you just put in enough work. But the reality is, it's never going to be enough. There's always something new to buy, something new to inject, something new to change. And while some people genuinely enjoy that, which I will never understand, others are just doing it to survive, to feel worthy in a world that constantly tells you you're not enough. And mind you, this does not stop with looks alone. You're expected to have the right energy too, the right vibe. You can't just look good, you have to be soft spoken, mysterious, confident but not loud, sexy but not trashy, and aesthetic but not too try hard. At this point, it's a full-time job. And what scares me the most is how this aesthetic is bleeding into real life. People are getting surgery younger and younger. Filters are warping our perception of what normal skin is supposed to look like. And even casual hangouts are starting to feel like mini photo shoots. It's beginning to make it harder to connect, harder to be vulnerable, harder to feel seen. And I'm not saying we all need to go barefaced and live in sweatpants forever, of course not. But I do think we need more balance, more space to just exist, messy, imperfect, and human. Because when every girl is chasing the same aesthetic, the same body, the same vibe, what exactly is left? Where is the individuality? Me personally, I think a shift is coming. We're already starting to see people push back, embracing softer styles, romanticizing imperfection, and leaning into authenticity. There's more talk about body neutrality, mental health, and rejecting the pressure to monetize your looks. But of course, that doesn't mean the baddie aesthetic is going away completely. It just means that people are realizing it's not the only way to be beautiful, or worthy, or successful. The real problem here is not the look itself. It's the idea that it's the only look that matters, that you have to fit this one narrow ideal or you risk being forgotten. We need to stop pretending that hyper-curated beauty is the same thing as self-love, and we need to be okay with looking human again. So yeah, I'm tired. Tired of the baddie aesthetic, tired of trying to be a baddie, tired of the Instagram body, tired of how much pressure we're all under to be perfectly packaged, even online. And if you're tired too, trust me, you are not alone. You're allowed to exist without contouring your jawline. You're allowed to show up with a bloated stomach or a breakout. You're allowed to dress for comfort and not aesthetics. And you're allowed to take a break from the performance. Because at the end of the day, none of this should define who you are. We deserve more than a trend cycle that profits off of our insecurities. We deserve softness, space, and freedom. Let's make that the new aesthetic.